But the first problem is that special ed should never be a place. Special ed should be a way in which we serve students. That is, if you have an individualized educational plan that has accurately diagnosed a learning need in a child, then we should all want our kids to get that. And it's not about where you put them, but how you serve them.
Welcome to Education RX. We may not.
I think that the push to inclusion is important, but we've got to make sure that we're not losing the need to diagnose what's going on with the child when we see a child either having trouble with learning or having trouble socially with other kids. And that's where I think many schools struggle. That what is not uncommon in many schools is to see a child who's fine with one teacher and then a big problem with another teacher. And what's often missing is the relationship and the ability to build a trusting relationship with the student that often brings out their ability to work and to learn and to perform in class. And unfortunately, we don't do a good job at training teachers on how to build those supportive relationships with students, especially across differences of race and language and culture. So we want to make sure that our teachers are well trained so that they can work with kids who are learning English, work with kids who have learning challenges. We have a number of kids these days we call neurodiverse learners who are, just don't learn the same way as other kids. And we want to make sure our teachers can teach kids the way they learn rather than expecting kids to learn the way they teach.
Oh, I like how you said that.
That's what we know about Native American children is that when they get to learn their culture and language, they tend to do way better in school. They do better in life. And it's about that overcoming that estrangement from their identity that too often, that's the history of Native American education, unfortunately, in this country. For African Americans in this country, what we often see is the language that the children speak is seen as bad English. And so very often teachers spend all their time either not understanding or correcting kids. And what we know about any child who is learning another language, and we want our kids to be able to speak what we might call mainstream American English, because that gives them access to jobs, to college, et cetera. But we know that the language they come speaking is the language of home. That's the language they speak to grandma, to their relatives. It's not about giving up that language. It's about providing the ability to code switch so they have more than one language. It's like becoming bilingual, bicultural in some cases, and that's an added value. And if we think about it that way, that we're not trying to eliminate their culture, but really give them the tools so they can navigate multiple cultures, then it's an empowering strategy rather than one that, as Jim Cummins says, disables kids.
Right. We may not have all the answers, but we're looking for people who have a piece of the solution puzzle.
It takes all of us to turn things around. This is Education RX.